Alright guys, welcome back to episode 4 of the Spacemacs ABC. Last time I did F for files and E for errors, so today we should be continuing on to G. And under G we have stuff for version control systems, in particular Git. However, there is a major pull request coming up that will change a lot of these bindings and introduce a new fancy microstate and a few more cool features. So I think I will wait with G until that is merged, um, just to show you guys the new cool things when they land. So in the meantime, we're going to jump on to H for help. Um, so without further ado, let's see what we find there. Space H. Uh, Space H return Helm enable miner mode. So this lists a bunch of miner modes that you can enable, and I wonder if it also disables which, if I do which key mode, which is enabled right now. Ah no, that actually doesn't disable it. Yeah. So if I do space H return and I do Linum mode, yeah, that one enables it, but I can't disable using that. Okay, so that's a little bit weird, but I would have thought that would be nice to be able to both enable and disable. But okay, whatever. Space Age Space, that's a new binding introduced literally less than an hour ago. I just merged this pull request. This is the same binding as Space FEH, so hopefully this will make it a little bit more visible for people. And if you don't know what Space FEH does, it's basically the singular source of Spacemacs help, basically. So I talked about this in the previous video, so you should probably watch that. Um, Space FEH, this one. Okay. Space Age B Helm filter bookmarks. So this shows a list of bookmarks you have stored. I note there should be a space around this ampersand, but that's just the grammar Nazi and me speaking, I guess. I don't use that many bookmarks, so that's why this list is a little small. I guess it's the same list as what you have here, um, which I really should learn to use more, I think. But okay. In the meantime, that's on my to-do list. So Helm bookmarks, Space Age, yeah, D. So under here is your gateway to Emacs documentation. If Space H space is your gateway to Spacemacs docs, then Space HD is your gateway to Emacs docs. And you'll notice that almost everything in here starts with describe, which is why it's under D. Um, so let's see what we can do with these things. So space HDC describe char shows you information about the character under point. So you can see its position in the buffer, the character, and how it is displayed. How it is displayed as a blue bold character. Its Unicode code point in decimal, octal, and hexadecimal. Preferred char set, code point in char sets, scripts, the syntax class of the character, which is an Emacs thing, basically how regular expressions treat this character and so on. Um, Category. So these are Unicode categories, I guess. How to input this character? Well, you would type a C, I guess, would be easier, but I guess this is where you go if you have difficult Unicode characters. Buffer code, file code, in case they are different. This is the font it's using to display it. These are more Unicode properties, exactly the name of it, categories, and so on. And these, yeah, exactly which face is being used to render this character. Line prefix. Okay, so these are maybe well, okay, so there's a lot of things there which are useful if you're wondering what's going on in your buffer, especially if you have weird characters, Unicode characters that you don't know what are, or you're wondering about the phases. In particular, for me, that's what I use it for a lot. Then this is a very useful function. Character. Anything else? Space HDF describe function. So this is basically a list of all the functions in the Emacs Lisp language. Um, Not just the standard API, but really everything that is defined in your current running session. So this is going to include also a bunch of Spacemacs things, um, a bunch of stuff from other packages that you have downloaded, like FlyCheck, and so on. And if you click enter on any of them, then you get the docstring for that function. It tells you the arguments it takes and what it does and so on. So yeah, if you write any amount of Emacs Lisp, then this is a lifesaver. And the same thing is space HDV, which is essentially the same thing only for variables. Now, you may know if you write a little bit of Emacs Lisp that the same symbol may be bound to a function and a variable, and those are different things in Emacs Lisp. So you can't have a Helm describe functions and variables together because there may be one name with a function and a variable. So that's why they are different. Um, but yeah, if you want to code Emacs Lisp, then you need to know about these two functions. Space HD capital F. So this is a really new feature which is only in the develop branch at the moment. So if you go to Space HDC, you'll realize it shows you what face is under your cursor, org level 4, and you can click enter here, and it will show you the description of the org level 4 face. Now you could do Space HD capital F, and it'll show a list of all the faces. And it will start on org level 4. It'll be highlighted for you from the beginning because that is the face under point, and you can hit enter on it to get to the same descriptive buffer for that face. If you go to somewhere like here, and you go on a symbol that doesn't have a face, or it has the default face, and then you do space HDF, it will instead of taking the face under point, it will look up the name under point. So this time it opens here on font lock doc face, and you can open that as well. You can even customize these faces if you go to the customize this face link, but I prefer not to use customize to do this. There is a new layer in the develop branch called theming, which is, in my opinion at least, better for customizing your themes. But anyway, if you want to learn about faces, this is a really nice binding face. By the way, list faces display. This one shows a list of all the faces as well, but this is in a buffer that is a bit more permanent than Helm, which is also useful. Okay, space HD K. This is also a lifesaver. Describe key. So when you do space HDK, you're asked to enter a key sequence, and once that key sequence is complete, you will be told what function hides behind that key sequence. So if I now do space HDK, I will be told that space HDK runs the command spacemacs describe key, which is defined there and there. I will find out which other key bindings this one is bound to, if any, and then I will get the docstring for that function. So if you're wondering why your key bindings are screwed up, and you want to do some debugging on your own, then this is also a really good function to know. Describe key. Okay. Space HD capital K describe key map. This is a function that is not in Spacemacs. It's from my own personal configuration, but I'm sure we will find a space for it eventually, once I can be bothered to make a pull request, or someone else can be bothered. HDM describe mode. So this is a buffer that describes essentially your current mode. It shows you a list of all the minor modes, and there are links here that you can go to, I think. Yep. Can I go back? I can. So that's all the minor modes. And then it describes the major mode, which in this case is org mode. Major modes, by the way, are Emacs speak for file type. And then it shows all the major mode bindings, and these are very Emacsy bindings, as you can see. I don't think this shows I don't think it shows the Spacemacs bindings. I'm not sure if that's possible. But anyway, after that section on the major mode, it will list all the enabled minor modes. So there's a ton of information here, and typically you're not interested in all of this, but it may come in handy, especially if you have performance problems. We may ask you to check this buffer, see what your enabled minor modes are, and if any of them are performance hogs. So this one is also handy. M describe mode, space HD P describe package. So here's a bunch of packages, and are these installed packages or all packages? Can I find something that I know for sure that I don't have installed? I don't think so. I think I have these installed. Let me do package list packages here. I should have used my space A capital P binding actually. Let me do that. Space A capital P. There you go, paradox. And let's see, I do not have installed ABC mode. So if I do space HTTP and I do ABC, oh, it does describe it. Okay, well that's nice. Yeah, so then it shows you basically a description for a package, whether it's available or installed, which archive it comes from. Typically, almost all the time you will find Melpa here, because that's really the biggest one. Which version there is, and a description for what that package does. Describe package. Okay, space HDS. Space HDS is a Spacemacs specific function which creates a summary of your system data, basically, and it prints it to the messages buffer. So I can bring that up here. It shows the list of all the layers that you have enabled and the variables you've given them, or the values you've given variables, sorry. And it also shows you the operating system, your Emacs version, Spacemacs version, the specific branch and commit you're on, as well as the distribution you've chosen. Um, so if you report an issue to GitHub or to the Spacemacs chat room, we may ask to look at the output of this command. And when you do it, it copies it to the clipboard, so you can just paste it. So describe system, I guess we can call it. Okay. Space HDT describe theme. So this is the last of the describe functions. Describe this theme. Now let me see Monokai, which is what I'm using, at least mostly using. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of things going on here. Never really used this function, but it's there. Okay. So those are all the space HD bindings, and then let's continue with space H. Helm info at point. Yeah, so this queries the info database, which is basically Emacs' own documentation system. It's more like a manual than docstrings, which is what we've been seeing so far using the Space HD tool here. So if I do space HI, it'll search for font lock comment phase, and if I click enter here, I will come to the info page where font lock comment phase is described. And info is that's a whole different beast, really. And I don't think I will spend time to describe for you info. You can basically do space column info and have fun and see where it takes you. There's a lot of information here. It's basically the entire Emacs manual on your computer, which you would otherwise find online. Info at point. Space age K. This is a really new binding as well. It was merged a couple of days ago. And you've noticed that I've been using this which key pop-up to check out which bindings I have. Now, up until now, the biggest point about this pop-up is that it doesn't show until you actually type a key, a partial key binding, and then it will show up and help you out. But with this key binding here, space HK, I can look at the bindings without even entering anything at all. So right here, space is listed. It says root, and if I now hit space, it will take me to the familiar which key pop-up that pops up if you hit space. But I can do other things as well, like I can do G, and these are all the Vim G bindings, right? So this brings really a whole new level of discoverability to Spacemacs, which I really like. Which key top level? Okay, space age L, Helm resume. So yeah, so now comes a few Helm bindings. So H is for help as well as Helm, and Helm resume is nice if you have If you have a Helm buffer like this one, for example, and I press now Ctrl G to quit it, and then I do a bunch of other things, but I want to go back there, right? Now if I do space FF here, I will open a new Helm session in a different folder, which may not be what I want. Maybe I just want to go back here. But I can resume the last open Helm session using space HL. And here I do. So here I am now in Helm find files, and I'm in my .files folder and not in the folder where I have this buffer. So it just basically resumes the one I had opened last. This is really useful if, in particular, if you do things like Helm AG and you want to search a bunch of things, Spacemacs, blah blah blah. You go, for example, there and you do a bunch of things, and then you want to go back to your search results and continue. You just do space HL, and there you are. Now you could, of course, copy this to a buffer instead, which would probably be the smartest choice. I think that's Control C, Control E. Nope, it is something else. Control C tab, Helm copy to buffer. No. Okay, well, it's something. I just forgot what it is. Maybe someone will know. Helm resume last Helm session. Okay, space H capital L, sorry. Helm locate library. So this shows a list of all the Emacs Lisp files in the load path. So if you're looking to check out the flycheck source code, you can do that here. It'll bring you straight to flycheck. Helm locate elisp library. Okay. Space H M Helm man woman. So this is a man page viewer. Okay, so it's opening with the input under point. So let me go here, and I can search for FAST, which I showed you in a previous video. And yeah, there I go. I get my my man page. And the major mode here is man mode. So there's something else called woman mode, which I believe stands for without man. But I haven't set myself into the details there. Anyway, it looks up man files, and that's all you need to know as far as I'm concerned. Man pages, space H M Helm switch major mode. Okay, so typically when I want to switch a major mode, I just I launch Helm meta X and I search for the function I'm interested in. But I suppose this lists only major modes, so it's a little bit quicker. So that's nice to know. So if I want to put this buffer in web mode, which would be not a good idea, I can. And if I can put it back to org mode, yeah. So for those of us who switch major modes sometimes, like me, then this sounds like a useful function. Helm major mode. And I believe we had one more binding, evil tutor. So just like Vim comes with a Vim tutor, then evil comes with an evil tutor, or actually evil doesn't come with an evil tutor, but there is a package for it anyway. It's written by the lead maintainer of Spacemacs, and it's basically written according to the style of the Vim tutor. So if you're interested in learning evil, if you're an Emacs person who's interested in learning evil, then this could be for you. If you're coming from Vim and you want to learn evil, then you probably already know it, and I don't think you should waste your time with this tutorial. So there it is, evil tutorial. And that brings us to the end of the help bindings. And I think we have time for more. Space I for insertion. Okay, let's try them. I insert. What do we have here? Space I E. So yeah, this is enabled if you have the emoji layer. Yeah, this one. You can insert emojis. And then I have to be in a buffer where I have emoji mode enabled, which I think I do here. Hang on. Emoji only in ERC. Okay, let's put it on in this buffer here just for fun. Emoji cheat sheet plus display mode. Or let me do it the weird way here. Space H return Helm enable minor mode emoji cheat sheet plus display mode. Okay, there we go. Now let's do space I E. You should get a Helm buffer with emojis, and you can choose which to enter. Baby chicken, and there you go. You have a baby chicken. Now you have a stray comma in front here. That I think is a bug related only to org mode, because that's the syntax org uses for drawers. So there's a collision there. But if I go to the scratch buffer and I enable emoji cheat sheet plus display mode, and then I do space IE, and I insert a baby chick, you should get just a baby chicken. Yeah, and I think if I disable emoji, you can see the text here. So space IE will still work, I believe. Alien. Yeah, you'll just get this colon code instead. So these are two orthogonal features basically. One displays emojis and the other inserts them, and they have essentially nothing to do with each other. Emojis. Okay. Space I J insert line below. So this inserts a line below or above the cursor. Space IJ, space IK. Are there any others? Yeah, capital J and capital K. Do it without indenting. So J, capital J, K, capital K. Insert line above or below. Typically, I like to use the unimpaired layer for this. The unimpaired layer comes with a binding for close square bracket and space, and open square bracket and space for doing the same things, which I find to be a little bit more intuitive, so to speak, especially if you're used to these kind of unimpaired bindings. And they also have fewer keys, 2 versus 3. So I tend to prefer those. Let me see. Consider using from the unimpaired layer. Okay. I don't need that. Okay. Whatever. Ignore that. Space I L Lorem Ipsum. That's also a new feature from the develop branch. So let me go to the scratch buffer. I actually had use for this once, so it's not just nothing. Lorem Ipsum insert list. Oh, that's beautiful. Insert paragraph, and of course we want these to be filled like that. Lorem Ipsum insert sentences, and I'm using a period here to repeat. Yeah, amazing. Really quite nice. L Lorem Ipsum text. Um, that was ILL, yeah, for lists, items. P for paragraphs, S for sentences. Okay. Anything else? Space I S Helm Snippet. So snippets is part of the auto-completion layer here. It's a pretty powerful feature which I don't tend to use very much. But if you want to discover what kind of snippets are available in the current mode, you can do space I S, and it'll show here a list of all the snippets. The text in the square brackets is what you would usually type in the buffer to trigger the snippet, while the text after it is the actual name of it. So if I do CF, it will insert the text of the copy file snippet. But what I could do instead is to just do CF and then Alt // and I would do this. Now I noticed that there's no, I can't tab through the arguments here, so this is a poorly designed snippet. But let me try a better one. Def, yeah, defun is def, so let me do def Alt // and then you see it highlights the name of the function. So I want to write a function called bb hello, and then I hit tab, and then it goes to the arguments, arg1, arg2, arg3, and then I hit tab again, it goes to the interactive declaration, which let's say I don't want. That didn't work. X. How do I remove this? Let me try. Def delete. Yeah, delete works. Okay. So anyway, these are snippets. They are implemented using a package called snippet, which is the Y you have here in the mode line. Very powerful package. A lot of people like it. Like I said, tend not to use snippets that much, but when I do, I always forget what I need to type, and so this space IS binding is quite useful for me. Helm snippets, or let's say snippets. Okay, space I capital S auto snippets. So I believe this auto snippet is for creating new snippets from text already in your buffer. So let me say here space ISC space I capital SC runs the command ia create. Works on either the current line, or if you have a visual selection, it works on the selection. It removes prefixes, writes the corresponding snippet to something called ia current, with words prefixed by ia marker as fields. Okay, let me see here. What is ia marker? Let me check out what the name of this library is. Auto yaw snippets. Okay, let me require auto yaw snippet. And what? Oh, I need to get back to this docstring. This is might take a while, guys. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Space ISC runs the command IO create, removes IA marker prefixes, and then writes the corresponding snippet to IA current. IA current is a variable; its value is nothing. And IA marker is tilde, used to mark fields and mirrors. Okay, let's try this. Defun tilde name tilde args interactive tilde int body, and we mark this, and then we do space I capital S C. Okay. Now what happened there? Do I have a new snippet? Name? Do I have some messages? I do not. Are there any other bindings that are interesting? No idea. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure that this is the kind of thing that this package does. Did they make any? Did they make any snippets for me? No. Okay. Do I have a buffer with a snippet? I don't. Alright, I'm quite seriously confused here. But yeah, like I said, this is definitely something along the lines of what this package is supposed to do. Create snippets from text that you write. You just write something in some kind of arcane language, and then do this, and it should create a new snippet for you. But I'm not sure exactly what it does or how it works. Um, let me look up the other functions here. Space I capital SW runs the command IA persist snippet. Persist the current snippet in file name. Okay, so this saves a snippet to a file, and IA persist snippet steer. That is yeah, that's correct. Let me go back. And yeah, snippet, yeah, steers. That includes that folder, yeah. So that's good. So if I'm in a snippet buffer, then this should save the snippet for me. The only question is, how do I get to a snippet buffer? Maybe this other binding, space I capital S E, auto yaw snippet expand. Call yas expand and switch to insert state. Yeah, I don't know. Defen. Market space I capital S C. Create. auto yas snippets, create open line, create one line. Yeah, I don't know how to create snippets. Sorry, I don't really use this feature that much. Um, maybe I'll have to find out now though, since I made a fool of myself in public. Um, WTF auto yas snippet. Okay. Um, enough about that. Anything else I can demonstrate my foolishness over? Helm UCS. Okay, so this is for inserting um, Unicode characters. So space IU, and you will get a huge Helm session with a ton of different choices. It only shows you 100 at a time, but there should be really a lot in here. And searching might take a while, so if I search for poo, will I find the poo? Yeah, pile of poo, there you go. Well, I found it, so that's great, I guess, for Helm and for Helm Flex. Anything else funny in here? Box drawings. These are really nice sometimes. Box drawings. Light diagonal cross. Yeah. So a pile of poo on a cross. So that's the kind of thing you can have fun with Unicode. Helm Unicode characters. Okay, so that brings us to the end of I. I think that also brings us to the end of the video. Keep in mind that I have skipped G, so remind me about that. When that pull request gets merged, I will return to it. Until then, we will continue with J and K. This will be a fun one. There's a lot of things in K, which is the Lisp state. There's a lot of things in here that I have really never used. In spite of how much Lisp I'm writing these days, I really haven't used a lot of these. So that video will probably be a lot of fun because I'll mess up a lot. Um, so yeah, uh, that'll be the next video, I guess, unless G is ready until then. Um, until then, I will read up on the snippets, and I'll see you next time. Bye.